Hello everyone, my name is Jamie. I'm here with Chey. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
When you first started at our gym, I didn't know your name for months and months and months and months. It was Cheyenne, Chey June. Your Facebook, Instagram confused me.
Yeah, I got a few different names, but yeah, Chey or Shy is fine.
Chey. I've never called you Chey before. It's always Chey.
Yeah, I know. A couple of the people at the gym call me Shy. Others call me Chey, so whatever.
Well, this is the perfect opportunity. Who's saying it wrong? Who's saying it right? Let's end this controversy right now.
It kind of is Shy. Like most people do call me Shy.
I've been calling you Chey for 2 years. For Chey.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Like Shy and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess when you read it, it's like Chey.
Yeah,
so.
My parents thought spelling Jamie, J-A-Y, and me was a good idea until every person ever spells it wrong. And then my mum used to get upset about it. Like, it's so
she?
Yeah, she's like, it's not Jamie.
I like the spelling.
Well, thank you. All right, Chey, this is episode 13. You've been a member for 2 years now. So we're going to start with what happened pre-Break-Thru. So what was your gym experience like before Break-Thru? Did you have any experience? Was it a 24-hour gym? Tell me about that.
Okay, so before I started at Break-Thru, I've pretty much played hockey my whole life. So played a lot of sport, trained a lot in like the sporting kind of realm, but never really at the gym, if that makes sense.
So it was your typical like 2 times a week sport training and then like game on the weekend?
It was probably a little bit more serious than that. Like I used to train at school, after school, and then on weekends in Sydney. So I used to train quite a bit, and we used to work with like, you know, what are those? Not physio, like kind of like physios and stuff, doing different like agility training and stuff like that. But when it comes to weights or anything, yeah, I did try a couple of the gyms out, like you know, the ones like Anytime Fitness and stuff like that. But I never kind of worked. So I think when I first started at Break-Thru, before that I'd probably tried a few gyms. And yeah, they just didn't work out for me. It wasn't really that team environment that I was used to, I think. And like talking and...
Yeah, it's funny you say that. When I have, especially guys on the phone and they haven't trained at the gym before, I say like, yeah, it's like footy training. We just get together, it's fun, and we do some exercise and we go home. And it's funny, even like I was very heavily involved in AFL, and we've discussed this before, but like when you're in a sporting club, it's a cult and it's very, very hard to get out of it. And what they do so well is they have monthly social events. It just never ends. And that's
that's true.
Yeah, and that's why we have our social calendar at the gym, so you guys can never leave.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like it when we get together. It's pretty fun.
Okay, and when you're at the gym, like what was it? Structure? Was it motivation? Was it a lack of knowledge? What was the issue?
When I was at like the 24-hour gyms, for example, I think probably a lack of knowledge and no one motivating me. Like I could just no one was pushing me through the exercise, or there was no structure. I would kind of make it up myself, but because I wasn't very educated in like lifting weights and things like that, I got quite confused and then not very motivated kind of thing. So
did you tend to stick to the cardio in the gyms, or did you?
Yeah, most definitely.
Did you do?
Because it's easy to do.
Yeah, did you do pin loaded or plate loaded machines or free weights, or was that side of the gym not your friend at the time?
I did do that, but now I look back with the training I've had with you guys and I'm like, oh, probably wasn't doing it very correctly. At the time I thought I was.
It's just the classic 3 sets of 10, every machine in the gym.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know what? If you were going 3 times a week and you were doing your 3 sets of 10, that is better than most people. I have a shocking statistic for you, Chey. 92% of gym members don't go.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I average 3 days a week. I probably average like 3 times a month.
And with that, I guess, averaging 3 times a month, did you have that Sunday night, all right, this week's my week, I'm going to do it?
Or, most definitely.
Okay. And what got in the way?
I don't know. I think when I went to the gym, you're nervous of other people looking at you when you don't know what you're doing. That was definitely one for me, which sounds quite silly now, but it's true. So it was that not knowing what I was doing. I don't know what kept me away from it. It was quite an intimidating environment for me, I think, especially when you come from a team environment and then you kind of going in solo, not really knowing what you're doing. And I used to go at night time when no one was there. I tried, but it didn't work. And I think also before I started at Break-Thru, I was probably at my heaviest weight as well, the heaviest weight probably I've ever been. And I think that was due to finishing uni and then going straight into like a 9-to-5 job and sitting down all the time. I just kind of finished uni and fell flat on my face, to be honest, like with health and fitness and stuff. So that's probably another, like where I was at before I started. Yeah.
So you're at your heaviest and maybe you weren't feeling the best about yourself at the time. Is that fair to say?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Very, like, my mental health was poor, and I was quite insecure. Definitely. Yeah.
If you're going into a gym environment where you're unsure of what you're doing and you have that fear around people watching you because you're unsure of what you're doing, it's reasonable to assume that you're probably not going to be consistent. And it just comes down to like not enjoying that environment. And it's funny, we have like, I signed up a guy this morning actually, and he'd never been to a gym in his life, ever. Like first time ever next week. And like he played soccer and AFL his whole life. And then hurt his knee and he couldn't like train anymore, and he put on all this weight. And like he exercised 3 times a week, trained twice, played once a week, 25 years of his life. And it's just because he enjoyed it. Like
that was exactly the same as me, really. That's a similar story. Yeah. And when I stopped, like, obviously when you're at uni, you're out with your friends all the time. I was working out in the community. I was always on my feet, and then, straight into a desk job. Just a pretty, I wouldn't say a shitty time, but like a different time for me, something I hadn't experienced before.
Yeah, it's almost like just like reality kicked in, 9 to 5. And
I had to be an adult. Probably.
So we opened January 4, 2019. Seems like a lifetime ago. Was it 19? It was 19. Was it 19 or 20? I don't even know anymore. It was 2020.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, it was January 4, 2020. And you were trialed our first week. And how was your experience first time in the gym? Did you have those same fears before you walked into a 24-hour gym? Like, how was that experience for you?
Oh, most definitely. I was so scared. And I think I really had to push myself to go. But I thought may as well give it a shot. But yeah, I think I was surprised. Everyone was just so cool, like, and so nice and inviting that I felt okay. I didn't really care if anyone was watching me, if that makes sense.
It was a good time to start because everyone was new, right? So
everyone was new.
Those feelings.
And we're all probably a bit like, what are we doing?
And I guess, like, how long was it until you realized that, like, I guess Break-Thru was the place for you? Or how long did you realize, hey, like, this is what I've been missing? This is so much better to the 24-hour gym because of these reasons.
I don't think it was too long at all. I think one thing I really enjoyed about coming to Break-Thru is, I guess when I started, some people had already done group fitness, so they're at a different level to me. Whereas you guys kind of took the time to show me how to do things properly and would break down the exercise. I don't think I've ever had that anywhere else. So that kind of kept me coming because I was learning. And I think when I decided to stay was seeing a change and feeling a change. And it's good for the routine as well, like going 3 days, 4 days a week. You know, when you clock off work, you're getting dressed and you're going to the gym. So it was routine, like everything about it, really.
What were some of those physical changes that you felt first? Was it a feeling? Was it how you looked?
I don't think how I looked happened straight away. That definitely took a while. Definitely how I was feeling. I had a lot more energy. You feel better about yourself because you know you're taking care of yourself, if that makes sense. So I kind of felt less insecure. My clothes fitted a bit nicer.
That's self-esteem. Like if you put your best foot forward and you can wake up in the morning, I'm doing my best, I'm doing a great job at my work, I'm taking care of my health, I'm taking action, you're going to feel better about yourself instantly.
Exactly right. So that's what happened for me. And that's what become really addictive. Feeling better and just, you just feel energized and you feel you're doing something for yourself. It's like doing your hair or doing your makeup kind of thing. You're doing something for yourself. Like you're treating yourself in a way.
Yeah. And you're just putting your best foot forward. I said this before, like if I just imagine myself, if I just imagine if the gym was open and me and Mitch just didn't show up for a week, We'd locked the gym. We didn't post in our Facebook group. We didn't contact anyone. And I was sitting in my house on my own, just with my own thoughts. Imagine how anxious I'd be by Sunday. Just like, that's where like lots of anxiety is born just from like, just not doing the things that we know we need to do. And that's
exactly right.
That's a lot easier said than done. But if we could just do our best every day to try and do at least one good thing for us, it can certainly make ourselves feel better inside and out.
Yeah, I agree. And that's definitely the key to why I kept coming, I would say. You summarized that pretty well. But yeah. And as I said, like I made really good relationships with the people, and a lot of them are still coming to the 5 o'clock classes.
You were 6 a.m. at the start, weren't you? You were first thing in the morning, I remember.
Yeah, I was. And I did make a few friends there. And then when I transitioned to the 5 o'clocks, that's when I made, a lot more friends, I guess, as well. Yeah. And I don't think the 5 o'clock classes really changed.
No, so moved away, which is a shame. But yeah, it's the same 5 minute crew for like the last year now, which is good. And you mentioned it before, like you can just finish work, get your gym clothes on, and like you are going to work out, but you're also going to see your friends.
Yes. And like a lot of the guys that I'm with at the gym, say if you're going for a promotion or something, they'll be like, oh, how are you going? How'd your interview go? Like we all know each other on a really personal level. And even the new people, I know me when they come into the gym, I'm like, oh, what do you do? What are you up to? Things like that. So it's really cool to kind of debrief at the end of the day with like your gym friends as well. I think it's really good. Yeah.
Really, really great way to unwind. And just like, like it's just like we own 2 gyms and people think it's fitness, but it's not fitness. It is absolutely relationships. Like,
it's a community. It's a community, and I think everyone that comes to the gym, and it's so weird, and I've said this to you before, and I think I've said it to Mitch, it's so funny because all of us are so like-minded and we're all very kind people. Yeah. I don't think I've ever met anyone at Break-Thru that's unkind.
And the reason that is like you people just refer their friends, and nice people.
Yeah, true.
Like nice people refer other nice people.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's the best. It's honest. When I purchased my house, I was laughing before because I thought of it. I said to my partner, when I purchased my house, we cannot move away. We need to be near the gym so I can get there after work. So that's how much the gym means to me.
I need to freeze frame this and like, that is the best Facebook Google review ever. That could make 60 minutes. Josh and Chey break up because Chey refused to move more than 5 kilometers from Break-Thru Active Adamstown.
Pretty much. And, it's like it's a few expensive houses around your area and within the radius. So Josh was probably kicking himself.
Yeah.
But we did.
It's good. And let's talk about, you mentioned the physical changes took some time.
Yeah,
so you have lost some weight. How much weight have you lost?
I've lost about 10 kilos, give or take. Sometimes, it can be 11 or whatever, but I say 10 as a standard. So yeah, I lost 10 kilos I think it really kind of all happened last year, but it happened over time. It wasn't one of those fast kind of things. It took a long time. And I kind of just jumped on the scales one day, probably 6 months since I last weighed myself. And yeah, I kind of lost 10 kilos. I was, as I said before I started, I was at my heaviest weight and I've never been that weight in my life. And I think just with consistency, it came off. I didn't make that my goal when I came to the gym.
Yeah.
Kind of just happened naturally, which was really nice.
Yeah, it's one of those things like you've been coming for almost 2 years now. Or it is 2 years now, sorry. And it's like if we break that down over 2 years, it's what is that? It's like 100 grams, not even that. Yeah, it's 100 grams a week.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I don't know. And yeah, and now I guess that like before the gym and stuff as well, I would try those fast fixes, like the silly diets here and there, always putting myself through those kind of routines and stuff.
I've never heard of any of them.
Yeah, so I did that. And then I think, it happened over time. And now I've lost that 10 kilos. I'm noticing my body looks a lot different. I'm not losing any more weight. I'm maintaining, and I'm happy to do that. But my body's completely changed in the shape that it is. So that's also really nice to see. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you're at the point now where like if you are really overweight and you've had some time off training, the scale is a really good way to determine your progress because you have a lot of weight to lose. But you're at the point now where like, if your weight fluctuates a kilo up or down, it doesn't really matter. It really is just like, how do you feel in your own body? Just how do you feel in your clothes?
Yeah. And I feel great. And I think it's nice too, like I've educated with the challenges and stuff we've done, it kind of educated me a little bit more about food. So
And
now
what did
my
you learn
goal,
about food? Let's talk about that. What did you learn about food?
I think it's more just to, it's like that high volume kind of diet, just filling yourself up with, greens and stuff like that, drinking your water, which I wasn't very good at. And just things like that. And it's so simple. And I think I used to overcomplicate it and think there was like a fast answer, but there's really not. It's just consistency, unfortunately. And it takes some time.
And like, we'll talk about like, I guess, some of our methodologies of dieting later on, but what were some of those fast things that you tried? And more importantly, what was the silliest one that you tried? And what was your...
The shake thing.
You tried shakes. I didn't know that.
Yes.
What shake did you try?
Do you know what? It was actually probably a Woolworths one. Like the slim something.
Well, buying them at Woolworths is better than joining a pyramid scheme, so I'm glad about
Yes, I stayed away from the pyramid schemes. They didn't quite get me there. But yeah, no, I did try all of that stuff. And yes, the weight would come off really quick, but it would come back just as quick. And that's so disheartening. And it plays on your mental health and stuff as well. And I made a funny goal this year. It was to not diet. And that's like a reverse. So because I used to get so caught up in it, I said to my friend this year, my goal this year, like what's New Year's resolution, is to not diet, just to maintain, to eat what I know I should eat, stick to the same foods, which I pretty much do. And if you want to have chocolate, but not lots and lots.
It's funny, like with the whole not dieting, like if you look at food for its intended purpose to fuel our body, sometimes we look at food very differently.
That's exactly right.
I think one of the biggest things about food, I say this every day, is like if you're training 3 days a week, you're just naturally going to eat better. Because even if you eat better just on the days that you train,
you do.
Conscious about it, that's almost 50% of the week your food's improved. And one of my biggest beliefs, and it bothered me the other day, someone said, "Oh, Jamie, you'd be really proud of me. I went to a pub and had salad." And I'm like, "No, I'm not proud of you at all."
Enjoy your time with your friends.
Yeah, and like, I don't care what you have when you're with your friends, but I sure as hell care what you have Monday at lunchtime at work. And like, it like, just control your food when you can. And then when you're with your friends or we have one of our social events or it's your birthday, absolutely go to town. What happens is people will like just eat the wrong things during the week. They have the event coming up and they feel guilty about the event. When like, first of all, you shouldn't feel guilty at all. But like, if you are going to feel guilty, it's Monday lunchtime.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I think I've done that, and I learned it through you guys and having chats and stuff at the gym as well. So it's all kind of naturally happened and over time, which is nice.
Your weight loss stories is pretty similar to Liv. Like, I think Liv's lost 15-ish kilos, and she hasn't really
most definitely.
She just kind of like just ate a little bit healthier. And don't get me wrong, like I talk about calories more than anyone, but it doesn't mean you have to count calories. It's just you have to understand that one principle, which is like energy in, energy out. And the reason why I like people to understand that, it's not so they can use it to lose body fat. It's so that like when you do a slim fast diet or an isogenics diet or an airborne diet, like you're losing weight because the shake is less calories in your food. You're not losing weight because of the shake. And when people think they lose weight because of the shake, or they think they lose weight because they did keto and carbohydrates is bad, like if you understood that like you are just simply reducing your calories different ways, you can then choose what way you choose to reduce your calories. And it can be as simple as what we do, which is just, hey, let's try and eat some high volume, low calorie foods that make you feel good.
Yeah, and that's exactly what worked for me. And I was like, whoa, it's actually this easy and this simple. And it is quite simple.
It really, really is. And like, it's simple to a point. And like all the stuff that you hear about, like low carb, high carb, like carb cycling, different supplements,
Fasting.
all the stuff that you hear, like that's on Instagram and the internet. These are principles used by like elite athletes or professional bodybuilders. And like, they're the ones that are after that extra percent, and there is nothing wrong with that. But Chey Turner, not a professional athlete.
The average gal.
The average gal. And just like, and that's where like people will focus on all those 1%ers that the elite people do, but then they forget to drink about water.
Yes, I'm bad for that. I was bad for that.
When I talk to someone new, it's like my favorite saying, which is like, what is your low-hanging fruit? And what is the simplest thing for you to change to get the best result that isn't going to drastically change the quality of your life? And for most people, it's literally like, just drink 50% less wine. And I'm not saying give up wine. I'm just saying drink 50% less wine. Or if you are going to have a block of chocolate, how about we replace that block of chocolate for a caramel koala? And what I'm doing is I'm effectively giving them a shake diet or a carb diet or something, but I'm just explaining it in a way that it's really easy to follow. I'm still at the end of that just reducing their calories, but it's just a way that they can still, I guess, be sustainable long term.
And it's like that moving away from that good or bad food type of thing, which I think is important, because that's someone that was uneducated in the food area doing those diets. I thought they were good and bad foods. And of course there is in a way, but everything in moderation kind of thing. Well, and I learned that from you guys.
Bad would imply a food's evil. Like it's out to get you.
Like chocolate's great, but as you said, caramel koala, in my case, dark chocolate, I like that. So yeah.
Well, one of my favorite examples, I think I said it before, is I had a lady once and she used to just cook in heaps of olive oil, because olive oil is full of good fats. And it was like, I think it was like 2 tablespoons per meal, 2 meals a day. So it was 440 calories a day in olive oil. 2,800 calories a week, which is equivalent to 26 pieces of cheese pizza. And this lady had tried fasting and carb cycling and keto and the fast 800 and isogenics. And all she had to do was change to spray. Sometimes it can be that simple. So,
yeah, definitely.
So you've lost 10 kilos. You've made friends. Like, what, in terms of like your mental health compared to. You started a new job, it was 9 to 5, you're your heaviest weight, you weren't feeling confident in the gym. How has that changed now?
Yeah, well, I think when I first started, my mental health was pretty poor. It was like transition in life, I think, as well. And my environment, not exercising enough and not eating right. I was on medication for my mental health and stuff like that. Came to the gym, started to get into a routine, had that kind of social aspect, getting into the routine, the endorphins, things like that. I think it helped me, and eventually, with a doctor and everything else, I was able to come off medication and really just rely on my routine and my new structured environment. Yeah, it's actually quite amazing. And you mentioned Liv before. I talked to Liv, and I think she had a similar experience, which I was like, wow, it's the same for all of us. But yeah, it's just having a community and stuff behind you. And I wish I could put it into words, but that was probably my biggest change, and why I started. It was more, you've exercised your whole life, hockey and all that, and you were always okay. The common denominator is not exercising. So I started, and for my mental health, and it's just, it's great. It's never been better. And my mind's like really sharp and stuff as well. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah. Like if I have, that's so good to hear, by the way. That is just amazing. Off medication, lost 10 kilos, made friends, and purchased your house in a radius of our gym. Good. Like when you exercise, you're absolutely sharper. You don't experience brain fog. And even today, like if I miss a session or I miss my workout, like I'm just lethargic. And for people that don't exercise, they think exercise drains you of your energy. Perhaps it does for the first week. Yeah. And then you just explode with energy.
I agree. And your body kind of, as you said, like I've been sick this week. So I've just been walking, trying to stay away from people, staying away from the gym because people have kids and stuff there. So, yeah, and I feel really lethargic and work's a lot harder and, you know, things like that. So, yeah, it does wonders for everything.
Like mental health and exercise, like if you do hard shit 3 times a week, like, and our sessions are challenging, like the sense of satisfaction, Mitch writes them, but the sense of satisfaction after doing that and just like building so much confidence and self-esteem in your body, like, hey, like I am capable, I can do hard things. And if you're in the middle of a workout that is rather unpleasant, but still enjoyable at the same time, and you get through it and you force yourself through it and you push through it, like it would make sense that you can push through other hard things that happen in your life.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that to myself as well. You're pushing through an exercise like burpees, you might have a couple of them. It's definitely a mental thing. Your brain has to tick over. And I think when you're in the gym, you're training your mind, and then that can go over into other things like your work or, you know, so I definitely think that's a component. You're training your physical self, but also your mind to be more resilient in a way, which I've found as well.
Yeah, and like self-esteem is like, do you follow through with the things that you say you're going to do?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or are you constantly like making promises to yourself and you're breaking them?
Yeah, and that's a shitty routine to get yourself in.
And then at the end of the day, when you are alone with your own thoughts, you think, I said I was going to do this and I didn't do it. And of course, over time, that's going to get you down. But we want to do it other ways. But I think when people try and like snap out of that mentality of like breaking promises to themselves, instead of going for a walk and drinking water, they go straight to the fast 800 diet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where at the start, like, it's just like, we beat people over the head like 3 days a week, just 3 days a week. And that's all that requires. And if you look at our visit board, Chey, in the gym, and like we've had members there from day one, I think the best is like Edwina at 400 members. And if we average Edwina out, I think Edwina trains every single day. But even Edwina, our most active member ever, she averages 4 times a week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Consistency is key.
Yeah. And people think it's 7 days a week. And it's just just a lie.
I think I would die. 7 days a week.
That's one of the issues. I feel like people, like, it's constantly being lied to about health and fitness. And
most definitely. And I was a victim of that for sure. And I've only just seen it.
Yeah, people just get more and more and more confused and more overwhelmed. They try something, they fail. And then sometimes, legitimately sometimes, like, it's not their fault. Because they'll literally barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I can imagine it would be scary for some people if they were to come and join our gym and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely the right environment to be in, the right people to be around. We have, just thinking of some of our new members and stuff coming into the gym, all of our ages and stuff are so different.
I know a lady joined at Cardiff. She's 78 years old. Her name, her name's Faye. She wears a polo into the gym, like she's just wrapped up a bingo. So she pops in. It's like, morning superstar. I'm like, hey Faye, how are you? And like she's 78 and she just does some leg swings and just does like box squats that are that high, and that's enough. She's 78.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Like, it's just so impressive, and we've got 24-year-old men and women just cheering Faye on.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Even when we do partner workouts and stuff, it's fun to pair up with people of different ages and stuff, because they teach you stuff, you teach them stuff. You can go at a different pace, or you partner with someone like Jake and you nearly die. But yeah. Mitch is actually interviewing Jake tonight also.
I'll get this podcast analytics to you and compare them against Jake, and we'll see who the most popular member of Adamstown is.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Chey, I really, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for the talk. I'm so proud of you. 10 kilos, improved mental health. You've done it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Chey.
Thank you so much. See ya. Bye.